So then we come to the penultimate book, book number 6, where we see the end. And I don't know if you guys got this feeling, but I kind of felt like this book came out really fast. And the story's really good, and we feel like there's so much more they could tell. But it almost feels like Tom Taylor was saying, okay, I've got to hurry up and finish this so I can move on to my DC contract.
And yeah, there were a lot of characters I would have liked to see developed more. And I think that's part of that. I think if going into it, I don't know if he knew he had the DC contract to start with. Maybe this was going to be like his version of Deceased for DC, and it was going to be multiple miniseries, where Deceased has had 3 or 4 now. They've got the 3 main ones. The third one's coming out,
right?
But they also have Unkillables,
right?
And they had Hope at World's End,
okay,
which is the 5 years skip in their story. So there were 2, 4, 5 now, with the third one coming out.
One of the things I was thankful about on this book is I had just, like, when I first started collecting a couple of years ago, I did the King in Black thing, and you were invested in that because they had so many crossover issues and stuff that, you know, what should have been a 5-book series wound up being almost 25 books. And then last summer I did the Heroes Reborn, and you know, that was what, 7 books, and it wound up being more like 19 books when you added all the add-ons. But now I'm at a point where, how cool would this story have been if you'd have had the little extra stories telling how Miles became Venom Carnage, or how this person ended up there and this person ended up this. It could have benefited from having a lot of little mini one-shots to go with it to kind of tell the story. But we're in book 6 now, and we're getting close to the end now, and we see our group there. And one of the first things we see in there, and I forgot about this until I read it this morning, in order for Tony to enact his plan, he said he needed a certain type of metal, and so they said, well, I know where some adamantium is. And basically Apocalypse takes Scott Summers underneath the ground and uses him to burn all the flesh and tendons and muscles off of Wolverine. And he goes, here's your adamantium you wanted.
Brings him a straight skull and skeleton.
Yeah, we actually see Logan's skeleton, and then we're like, man, here's another character we lost.
Yep.
But also at the same time, you know, we got to give these some of these good bad guys credit, because also which was pretty interesting, which it's always kind of been a thin line for him anyway. We see Octavius, he starts questioning. He's like, wait a minute, so if you're going to transfer your consciousness into this being, it's got to get out of the earth, so it's going to have to destroy the earth to get out. And Apocalypse was like, oh wait, he's starting to get too smart. And then we lose Octavius because the plan is shot if he doesn't stop them from realizing that.
Yep.
So we finally get to Paris. We've got our heroes here. They've got a plan, and of course the kids, they tell them they've got to hang back because now it's getting real. So they leave them with Devil Dinosaur and actually Miles, because he's still kind of recuperating from having Carnage and Venom on him. And
we get our big battle here. You know, we get our heroes against our heroes who have been corrupted by the Purple Man. You know, Kilgrave has them under control, and we get some pretty good shots of an awesome battle going on.
Right, we finally see where, you know, as you're reading this, you wonder, well, where's Captain Marvel this whole time? Yeah. Where's She-Hulk? Where's Beast? You know, where's Captain America? Because all we saw was Mystique. And obviously they were locked up in the cells underneath. They had captured them, and Kilgrave's controlling them now. Were you surprised at what happened to Kilgrave?
Not at all. I felt like the only thing about it was like you only got about a double page spread of like the fight, and then all of a sudden Kilgrave is killed, and let's move on really quick. Maybe this issue could have been a couple of pages longer, so we could give a little more time to the fight and just kind of give each character a little moment with the fight.
Right, because this is just like a gatefold. You get to see everyone fighting, and you kind of have your people, who matches up against who best going at it,
Yeah, but the entire Deadpool takes out Kilgrave was perfect for the character.
Yeah, definitely. I don't have a problem with that at all. I just would like to see a few more pages of the fight just to get
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was one of the funniest things in there. They're like, "Hey, we were just gonna knock Kilgrave out unconscious," and he's like, "We had a plan." He's like, "Oh, Deadpool's like, oh, I was driving the bus. I didn't hear the plan." That's typical Deadpool. So of course he goes to Jessica Jones. He says, "I'm sorry, I may have robbed you of some of your catharsis. Would you like to kick his corpse a bit or something?" So yeah, and you can see the look on Jessica Jones' face.
Yeah,
she's disgusted with Deadpool, but so with Kilgrave dead, we get the full Marvel team now because everyone has been taken out from under the mind control, both inside and outside.
Yep.
So now, there's no more mind control, and they have a little bit more to the plan. And obviously, they walk in and we see Apocalypse, and this is where, when Josh was talking earlier about, I'm kind of impressed that she could do this, but what do you think about what Sue Storm did to Apocalypse?
Oh man, like this whole series kind of really did show what Sue Storm could do. Really, she's just an infinitely powerful character that I think doesn't get enough like understanding from people for what she can do. I mean, she can even suck the air out from people if she really wanted to. So she's pretty powerful. If she it could be even worse if she was malicious, but thankfully she's not with it.
Right, and it's really cool because I know really soon, thanks to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, spoilers by the way if you haven't seen that yet, we know that there is a Fantastic Four in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and this is a good way to kind of figure out what's going on, because there was made mention of Mr. Fantastic having kids. So not only do we get to see the Fantastic Four, we may get Val and Franklin Richards as well.
Yep.
So just good, kind of a good primer to get ready for that. And the thing is, the cool thing is, right now we're all speculating about who's going to be Sue Storm, but I think they're going to surprise us and pull somebody that we don't even know who's going to be Sue Storm.
Yeah. Well, you know where my money's at. What I want. I'm still on the fan cast. I want to see Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. I want to see them roll out there.
They dangled that carrot right out there in Multiverse of Madness. I definitely think you really should rearrange this around and figure out what to do for Krasinski, because that made a lot of people very excited when they threw him out there.
Yeah. Right, and you know what's sad though? He's still Jim to me. It doesn't matter. He's Jack Ryan, but he's still Jim. Why don't we just get Pam to play Sue Storm? It's perfect. They already work together well anyway. Well, kind of the climax of this book, we got a little bit off. What Sue Storm did is basically kept Apocalypse from using his power, and they used Dracula as bait, and he kind of went and bit Apocalypse and turned him into a vampire. Then you get the final shot there, and none other than Blade shows up and cuts off not only Apocalypse's head, but Dracula's as well. I wonder how long he's been waiting to do that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, probably a while.
Right.
I mean, that was a great shot and a really great page. Good spread there when that happens, because you knew as long as that blade it was going through Apocalypse and Dracula.
Yeah, it's just a nice little moment. Yeah, the blade just like, you know what, I've used Dracula to our advantage, but I'm gonna and I'm not gonna take any chances with him either.
Yeah.
Like it's like a double cross moment. We're gonna
Yeah.
use you, and then we're gonna kill you.
Yep.
You know.
A lot of that had to be done by a lot of that stuff was planned by Doom in the first place. So
Right.
double crossing right
As
up
you're
his
reading through the book,
alley.
you kind of see. Sorry, as you read through the book, you're kind of seeing Doom and Moon Girl planning this, and Doom says, that might could work. You're pretty smart, and so we get to see that, and basically, we get to see Sue and Reed reunited, and you hear that Franklin's still alive as well, which is awesome. Pepper and Tony are reunited at the end, as well as everyone else, and so at the end, we kind of see, and it's kind of fitting that the final scene is all the heroes are in Paris walking towards the Arc de Triomphe, which is the Arc of Victory. And, we're still in the Dark Ages, though. We're not, we still can't turn that EMP off, because if we do, the Unmaker is going to come back. But it just kind of ended with with this feeling that we might have like a whole universe or something come out of this, where we could tell some more stories. Unfortunately, I'm worried that if we give the stories to someone else besides Tom Taylor, then we might not get the good story that we got out of this. So overall, my favorite story arc in the whole book was probably Sue Storm. We got to see her give her whole, we got to see what she was capable of doing, and she was there from the beginning when they fought the Unmaker to the end when they killed Apocalypse. So that was my favorite character. What about you guys? What was your favorite character arc in there?
Mine was Spider-Man. I love the take on Spider-Man. I guess I'm a glutton for the superhero as a dad raising the kid with powers. I like that storyline.
Yeah,
I think it's really
Same here. Same here. I love Peter just getting to be a happy father, even like through like tragic times. He still kind of is happy about it. I've seen depressed, tragic Peter for enough, and I'm glad that he kind of doesn't have to be wallowing in his own sorrows and actually can become a leader in the new world.
Right, because usually Spider-Man is depressed, and, broke, and this is a really good a character arc for this particular Spider-Man. I like I said, I think my biggest surprise of the whole thing was seeing I think for me when we see Doctor Doom, or no, actually. Doctor Doom was a surprise, but when mine was like when Fin Fang Foom comes up out of the ocean, something we totally didn't expect to happen. What about you guys? What was your biggest or like funnest moment there?
I think like for me, like just seeing everybody just come out at the beginning of the second issue and go, it doesn't have to be like this. Like that to me was just like refreshing. I loved like seeing, okay, we're superheroes. Let's not let the world like get destroyed and just
Can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
We Are the World, the Marvel edition.
Yeah, we're just interesting to see who the singers would be.
Yeah.
Maybe Venom, like he was in Let There Be.
We Are the World.
Dazzler's rolling out there.
Yeah, right. Nice. Yeah. So, what about you, Josh?
Yeah, for me, the surprise moment for me, and I didn't even think about the costume giving it away, but the whole Miles Morales as Venom Carnage was a big shock to me. That's the one that really jumped out at me.
Right, and it was super cool in there too, because it kind of told a story once he got out that he had attached to Venom, or Venom had found him, and he was fine when he was just with Venom, but when Carnage came in, that's when things got messed up. So it's the way it usually works with him. Overall, story's really good. I really enjoyed it. It's a good, quick little read. I actually sat down this morning and probably in less than an hour went through all 6 books. Looking at the pictures, reading the story. Doesn't take a lot of time to read. Don't know if you could buy it now, all 6 issues, or if it's just easier to wait because it's out now. It will probably be out in a trade here real soon.
Trade's coming soon for this one,
and that way you could read them all at one shot. So,
and Marvel's much quicker at trades than DC. DC, that's like one of my biggest complaints about them right now. Their trades take anywhere from 6 to 8 months to come out afterwards. So, like, Marvel's like right on it with theirs, more or less.
Well, I think DC is more pushing their DC Universe Infinite. They want people to sign on to that, so they're pushing that digital over the trades.
Right. And I like digital for some things, but there's just something about holding a book in your hand and actually seeing the pictures that way, and that's really cool. Guys, you want to kind of give your thoughts on the series as a whole, and we'll wrap this thing up after that.
Daniel, you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. Definitely very high stakes. There's like the kills in this book really like will throw you off, and it'll just make it very harsh at points. But at the same time, it never loses that like hope and grandeur that these characters should have, in my opinion. It's just another way of giving them high stakes, and I really think Tom Taylor is just kind of knocking it out of the park with that kind of writing. I have not read any of DC's. Somehow or another, I haven't never read any of that, but I've heard of like that. A lot of that's the very same kind of tonal way of doing the way he does those as well.
It's okay. Josh has all of them. You can just borrow it from him.
I have the full series. Yeah. For me, it's just a great little read. You know, DC does the Elseworlds, Marvels. This is a what if story to me. This is a multiversal what if. You know, what if the power went out in the Marvel universe, and it created a world that felt real. It felt plausible. None of the characters felt like they were out of place. I mean, it was well written and well done. There were enough shocks in it to keep you wanting to go back for more, even to the point that at the end, I'm like, okay, where do we go now? Give me some more of this story.
Right. It was a lot of fun to read. And you know, if you read like consistently every week and you're reading stuff, every once in a while, you just need something light. And, you know, I'm not going to say this is light because, again, we talked about a lot of characters dying. But, you know, you were able to sit down and read a story that you weren't having to feel like, okay, I got to wait and read this whole story arc that's going to be like a year or longer. It's just a fun, quick little read. And I think everybody, you know, can kind of identify because, you know, we all have different favorite characters and you kind of get to see a lot of them in that story. So that was really cool. And I kind of enjoyed that. I think that's all we got for you this week. We're going to figure out what we're going to read next week. Maybe we'll jump over to DC and might even talk about another Tom Taylor story. It's not quite done yet, but we do have Dark Knights of Steel by Tom Taylor as well. That might be something. We'll figure that out this week as well.
Wednesday is the release of Dark Crisis #1. I have a feeling we'll all probably talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to read Road to Dark Crisis because I haven't read that one yet. But
the Justice League issue is pretty fun too. Yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't read it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So if you like what you saw, do us a favor and click that like and subscribe button down there. Trying to get up. We got some merch now. We're starting to work on merch, and we also have stickers. And I want to be able to give something away. I'm looking at when we hit 100 subscribers. So hit that like and subscribe button, and maybe you can get something. We'll figure out a way to give that away.
All right, guys, if you just check us out on our social media, we are the Brothers Boyd at Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok. And that will all pop up here on the bottom of the screen for you.
And check out our other videos. We've got more coming up. We actually talk about, we're talking about the new Obi-Wan series and what we're learning about it. Check us out with our What's New Wednesdays as we're at the shop picking up books and seeing what's new. It'll give you some idea about doing that. And until the next video, we will all see you at the shop.